as leaders, how do we balance accountability with empathy, specifically towards the end of the year and in a challenging market? Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith, the founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. Just as a reminder, this podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry that has given so much to me and my family. Guys, today I've got a lot of thoughts on my mind that I'm going to share. And I've gotten good feedback in the past on these type of episodes, so it kind of inspired me to do another one. I'm gonna just really share what's on my heart, what's on my mind. I'm in the trenches right alongside you guys each and every day. And so I'm just gonna share kind of the messaging, the thought process, what I've been processing recently in our team, and what I'm coaching and guiding both my team and other team leaders. That's advice that I'm giving, strategies, tactics right now that's relevant, that's real, that I hope you can use. Just so you are aware, I do have a huge guest list of high caliber guests that are going to be coming on soon. So stay tuned for some more of those guest episodes. But this one, you're getting just me. You're getting my brain, and I'm bringing it to you real. And honestly, I'm purposely underprepared because I want to be real, genuine, authentic, and just talk to you as if you and I were having a conversation. So the basics of what I'm going to process today and share with you is, as leaders, how do we balance accountability with empathy, specifically towards the end of the year and in a challenging market? So I think that's important that we understand accountability is always important in an environment, right? You need to hold your agents accountable. My definition of accountability is observing or noticing without judgment. So many of us run away from accountability because we've been held accountable the wrong way. We've been condemned, we've been judged, we've been yelled at, screamed at. True accountability isn't that. True accountability is a third party observer. Are you a third party observer? You legitimately are detached from the outcome, and you are a third party observer of them, observing or noticing without judgment. Too many of us jump straight to judgment, right? So that's the definition of accountability. We'll unpack more of that as we go. But also, I think that I say this a lot too, is accountability is the highest form of love you can show an individual. And so why is accountability important? Because if you care about someone, you will be willing to hold them accountable. And I think too many of us let people slide, or maybe we've been held accountable the wrong way. And so we just hesitate to hold people accountable. In reality, if you go back and look on your life, there have been people that have and people that still do hold you accountable and call you out on the things that you said you wanted for you, on whether it's health or fitness or nutrition or business or finance or relationship or you name it. You have someone, hopefully multiple people, that have and continue to hold you accountable. And even in the moment, some of those conversations may sting. In the end, you appreciate them and you know that they're doing it to help you. And so I just want to, most of you already know all of those things, but just a reminder, right? One of my mentors, my coach, my good friend, John Cheplack says, sometimes we don't need to learn more. We need to be reminded more. And so a reminder of why accountability is important and how to do it properly. But probably the more pressing thing that we're going to discuss today is, how do you have accountability, but you balance it with empathy? I was a couple nights ago, I led a kind of a coaching in the Cheplack coaching community. I led a little private mastermind slash huddle, whatever you want to call it, with a bunch of coaching clients from the organization of coaches, and I was hosting this week. And I ended on this thought, which kind of prompted this podcast as well, is that I think a lot of us, we think that real estate is, we read it in a book, we heard someone share on stage, and we think that's the way to do it. And so we need to go all in on those things. And as much as I believe in the all in mentality, hence the name of the podcast, All or Nothing. If you're not going to give it your all, don't do it at all, right? It's if you're going to do it your all, jump in with both feet. So as much as I agree with that mindset and live by that mindset, I also think there are nuances and there are subtleties. And I think one of the things that we get wrong as team leaders from time to time, including myself, is that we want accountability and we want an organization, we want an agent to be black and white. And a lot of times it's a gray area. And that's that leadership language that we're all constantly learning. I truly believe that the speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. And so, as you continue to sharpen your leadership skills, as I continue to sharpen my leadership skills, and learning the entire other language that is leadership, yes, it's its own language. And if you treat it that way and you try to learn more about the leadership language each and every day, the growth you will have is tremendous. But one of those components of leadership language is having empathy. So I think too many times we have this accountability with our agents and we have these expectations. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is, well, how many days per week do the agents need to be in the office? I don't know. I don't want an environment where I have to say you have to be in the office these hours. That's just not what I want. Well, how many role plays do they have to show up to? As many as they find valuable. And there's there's a lot to that that I'll try to unpack. But I think to give the audience, to give you guys the most value for this episode, is that I think it's really important you step back and you take a 30,000 foot view as you're reflecting for this year. What have you done right? What have you done wrong? What would you wish you would do differently? Where are the gaps? Where did you have the gains? And also planning for 2025. I think that it's important that you give your agents some empathy. Yeah, maybe they didn't show up how they should. Maybe they didn't make the calls they said they would. But instead of focusing on the gap, what if we just realized that it's been a tough year? It's been a tough 2 years for our industry. And we can look at it and we can say, well, it's really simple, Matt. If they just do the work, they'll get the results. Sure, you're not wrong. But also, why are we so hard on people? Instead of giving them a little grace, give them a little empathy. And this is something I'm just being transparent, something I'm personally going through. I just get frustrated really easily sometimes because I see the path and I see what people's potential are. I see what they're capable of, and I want the best for them. But I can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And so sometimes we have to slow that down and we have to go through the path of self-discovery. And as you're having these conversations with your agents, as you're going through the database, like I did this morning, and found all kinds of gaps, and had conversations with agents of where their gaps were and where they dropped the ball on literally an appointment set for them, and they didn't even text or call 3 weeks ago. Instead of going frustrated, I went to, where's the lesson here? How can I seek first to understand before I'm understood? Yes, seek first to understand before you are understood. And so I asked, hey, pull up this profile. Can you look at it? Can you tell me kind of your observations? What do you see? Knowing what you know now, is there anything you wish you would have done differently? And they coached themselves, and I didn't have to get frustrated. And now, because they seen it for themselves, and I helped them unpack that and uncover that, what are the chances and likelihoods that that will improve now that they went through that process themselves versus me calling and yelling and screaming and throwing shit and saying, why did you not do this? Why did you not? Why? Another accountability leadership lesson is why is a word of judgment. Remove it from your vocabulary. So I chose to have empathy and I chose to take the path of self-discovery. And guess how the phone call ended? Man, Matt, thank you for calling me out on this. Thank you for pointing this out. And thank you for holding me accountable. I know I can be better and I will be better. If I would have called and yelled and screamed like I have in the past, how would that conversation have ended? Not with the desired result, right? Another principle is start with the end in mind, right? So before that phone call, in this specific example, um, what is the desired outcome that I want? Do I want to vent and yell and scream and cuss? Maybe, but that's not truly the desired outcome that I really want. What I really want is for the agent, the team, the organization to learn the lesson and change their behavior so that they can perform at their highest level that I see the potential in them. right? And so, what is the best chance for me to get that? Is it starts with empathy, understanding that. Let's talk about the empathy of the average agent right now. The average agent, we can sit here and say all day long, and I've been ahead of this, and I've preached this, and I preach standards and discipline and all of that, and my team has heard it for years now. We have to change our. We're in a new marketplace. We're all new agents in this new market. If our behaviors and our activities don't change, and we keep doing the same thing, knowing the market conditions have changed, expecting the same result, that's insanity, right? So we have to change our behaviors to get a different result. So that principle is tried and true. However, one of the hardest things for someone to do as a human is to change. And sometimes they have to experience that difficulty. They have to hit that wall. They have to have that realization and they have to discover it for themselves before they change. So just have empathy when you're asking people to change. That's the hardest thing for them to do. Some of you, maybe like myself, embrace change and we want change. If we're not changing, we don't think we're evolving. But most people aren't like that. Most people shy away from change. Most people don't like change. And so this market has been change. And so what if instead of judging or saying, "Hey, we've talked about this," what if we seek first to understand? And what change have they went through? What are the things that maybe they are struggling with? What is truly different about their day to day in their marketplace? Because let's be honest, if they got used to, just like we did, just like you did, just like I did in the pandemic marketplace, we took our foot off the gas. Things were so good. It was so good. It was easy, right? Guess what the agents did? They did the same thing. Don't blame them for it. Don't be mad at them for it, right? Like it's just human nature. We all did it. But just understanding where they are and having empathy for them. And one of the things I think is really important that we find is we find borrowed belief. So many agents, why do we need empathy as leaders with our team right now? It's because they're struggling. Whether they are showing it in front of you or not, they are beating themselves up. They want to sell more real estate. They want more money for their families. They want their families to have a better Christmas. They want to set themselves up for a better year in 2025. They wanted to have their record year in 2024. And there's two sides of that coin. You can sit here and say, well, your actions didn't show me that. Sure, maybe. But that doesn't mean that they don't want it. They don't dream for it. They don't desire it. And so, how can we get them closer to that dream, that desire, that want to the action that is required? We can either judge and yell and scream, or we can have some empathy and go through a path of self discovery and have them understand what needs to change. And then we help them and hold their hand and give them a hand up through these changes. So empathy is important. There's a lot, again, I'm going off the cuff here, guys. I just think it's so many times we really struggle. At least I do. And maybe you guys don't relate, but I think I'm no I don't think I'm alone here. Struggle with where do you find the balance of accountability and empathy? Because I don't want them to get away with their excuses because I believe in them and I want them to believe in themselves. And that's where borrowed belief comes in. So how do you instill borrowed belief? So facts tell and stories sell, right? We all learned that in sales. And so where can you find a victory? Where can you find a story? Where can you find someone that is at their peer level? By the way, they look at you like you have a superhero cape on. So just because you can do it doesn't mean that they think they can do it. Sometimes if we handle that incorrectly, it demotivates them instead of motivates them. So maybe that's for another episode. But let's talk about finding someone on their peer level, right? So it can be another agent on the team. It can be another agent that you've heard someone else mention at an event. It can be something you saw on social media. But who is winning right now? It doesn't have to be a huge win, a small win. They set an appointment today. They had two under contract this week. They had their biggest closing. They made this had this much of activity. They did this thing that was good for the community. They let's say they did something that was in alignment with your core values. Find those things, be aware of those things, and share those things and use them as a story and a lesson to get other people to want to do those things too, because now they believe that it's possible. Possibility thinking. How can we instill possibility thinking and borrowed belief in our organization? So let me give you some real examples in our organization. So we have an agent that has been with us, I don't know, 5, 6 months. And she just recommitted, I don't know, about 30 days ago to say, I'm not going to let the holidays slow me down. I'm going to keep doing the things. I'm going to keep following up. I'm going to keep building relationships. And she just stuck to the basics on the back of a simple competition that we did that she stuck with and she won, which was 3 conversations per day for 30 days. Really simple, right? Everyone can do it. Only 3 of our agents actually completed that. And it's not judging the agents that didn't, but only 3 of them actually stuck with it. And one of the things that she realized through that was there was power and momentum. And she said, I don't want to lose it. I want to keep it going. And so she, 6 months in the business, had 5 under contracts last week. Where's the lesson there that I can share with other people? How can I put her in front of the room to share what's working for her so they hear it from her voice and not my voice? That's where borrowed belief gets instilled. Because if she can do it and she's 6 months in, I've been in this for 2 years, I can do it too. Or this is my first day in 6 months, I can get 500 contract in a week. All right, I'm going to stick to the process. These little things make a massive difference. Here's another win. I have an agent that committed to doing the 30 doing setting 30 listing appointments in 30 days. She'd never done it before. She didn't believe she could when she first started until she started doing it and she started setting appointments and then she started believing in herself. And then the whole team started rooting for her. She set them 30 appointments in 30 days. There's lessons there that you can highlight. There's stories that you can tell, and you can instill that borrowed belief in our agents because whether we realize it or not, they're probably struggling. They're struggling because their business isn't where they want it to be. And if they are, and you don't have that relationship with them and you don't have that empathy as their leader, well, guess what? You're causing friction and stress instead of solutions and hope and inspiration and a way out and a belief that it can be better. So realize that being empathetic doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong. When you're empathetic with your team, it builds trust, morale, loyalty. Aren't those all good things? Right? You don't hear that a lot in leadership. You hear the crack the whip thing. And I'm probably guilty of sharing those things as well because they do have their place. But I think right now what our agents need is understanding. They need empathy and they need belief. A lot of agents are going through burnout. They're stressed. They have personal challenges. What's going on during the market turndowns? They start losing belief and faith and confidence in themselves. If they don't have confidence in themselves that they can do it, what are the chances they actually accomplish it? So build their confidence. I'm not saying this toxic positivity or whatever it's called, right? Like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I get it. But where's the lesson there? Where's the belief that you can instill? Where's the confidence you can put inside of their head, their minds? So here are some ways that I think you can do that. How do you balance accountability with empathy? Let's be clear. To be unclear is to be unkind. Too many times we are vague. We don't give them clarity. I believe clarity is kindness. So set clear, achievable goals that they set and then hold them accountable to their goals. I think it's really important, and I've done a couple of episodes, both for and with the CEO of Sisu, which is a data company that we use for a lot of metrics. Make sure you know your numbers and they know their numbers so they can get clarity. And also, how many of your team members feel safe to come to you if they're struggling to ask for help? I've dealt with this before because I can be very intimidating or unapproachable at times. And so it's something I'm constantly working on is that if team members stop coming to you or asking for help, that's probably not always a good thing, right? There's still help that they need. And so make sure that you have that communication relationship with your team. And also let them know that when you're leading, that you're in this with them. Lead with the trench from the trenches. Lead with them, help them, encourage them. Regular check-ins, one-on-ones, different things are super, super important for you to make sure that you're helping them set themselves up for success. One of the opportunities that I would do if I were you, if this resonates, is a one-on-one with each agent, with each team member, doing reflection on 2024 and a projection of 2025. Really simple stuff, but having that personal time and having a personal connection, not just business, but personally. Where are they at personally with how do they feel about their results in 2024? How do they feel with what they can accomplish in 2025? and really get to understand where their struggles are and where you can help them. Also, one of the things that is really important for a culture and for an environment for a team is like recognition is huge. It's one of the big human needs is that people want to feel they want a sense of belonging, they want to be recognized. Are you recognizing your team regularly? Here's a tip. Find one team member per week that you can shout out on social media. Meaningful, like it has to come from the heart. I'll give you another tip. What if you actually took it another level and you gave them a handwritten note that was personal, that meant something? These little things make a big, big difference. Recognize their success, recognize who they are as a person, recognize their value, show their appreciation. Celebrate progress, not just results. How many times do we say focus on the process? Focus on the process, not the results. But then we celebrate the results and not the process. Find steps in the process, find steps in the core values, find steps in the culture that you can celebrate. It makes a big, big difference. One of the things that we do is we do like quarterly awards and different things for that. It's just really important you have gratitude in an environment of gratitude. I think we as leaders have a lot to be grateful for. And we should be grateful for our agents. We should be grateful for our team, for our clients, for our community. And if we start expressing that, then other people become more grateful because, like I said earlier, the speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. So you want your agents. Here's a good one. Maybe you're guilty of. I laugh because I'm guilty. I wish my agents were more appreciative of what I give them, what I offer them, what our team offers, what I give each and every day for them to succeed. There's a lot of times that I wish they were more appreciative. But here's the conversation I have with myself. I hold up the mirror and I look in the mirror and I ask the same thing. How am I showing up in those areas that are missing? If I feel like they don't appreciate me, how much do they feel I appreciate them? And the reason I don't feel appreciated is probably because I'm not showing them appreciation. I believe accepting extreme personal responsibility is huge as a leader. And I think right now is a great time for us to just reflect on our leadership and reflect on our team. And I really think it's a time when these times are challenging, when the market quote unquote slows, we have these holidays. Yes, you should be building processes and systems, and all those are important. But as a leader, you're no longer responsible for the transactions. You're responsible for the people that are responsible for the transactions. You are in the people business. Build better relationships with your people, help them grow, have empathy, understand where they are coming from, build them up, build their skills, invest in their growth. And the return on that, business wise, will be great, all of that. But just the feeling that you will get knowing that you're helping them, seeing their progress, like there's no better feeling in the world. So there you have it. There are my thoughts. End of the year. You need accountability, but you also need empathy with your team right now. Balancing those is tough. It's always which one needs more right now. But that's what they need to have encouragement to finish the year strong, to prep for next year. So I would just encourage you to go back and reflect on how you can improve as a leader so that you can help your team improve and dominate 2025. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you more than you know. So many of you reach out week by week and say thank you. It was a great episode. So that helps me keep going. I truly, truly am grateful and appreciative for each and every one of you. And if there's anything that I can ever do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. And last but not least, share this with a friend. If this resonated with you or there's someone that you think this could resonate with and could help, share it with them so we can help share the message and spread the word. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.